So as I hit go live, it takes a second to think.
Mhm.
So yeah, I just want to thank you for doing this because I think it's really it's really fun. Mostly it's really
Okay.
but it is also when, we have a conversation about where you were and where you are and what you've learned and what impacted you. Like, obviously, that helps me for the future, but for
Mhm.
you, it's really anchoring, really grounding the learning. So I think that we're live. Yeah, we're live.
I believe we are.
Go live. Woo!
Hello.
All right. So, what was your favorite part of Revive Your Essence? Oh, wait, before we start, this is Wendy,
Okay.
everybody.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Yeah,
That's
we
probably
forget, right?
that's
Let's do the
probably
intros.
important. Yeah, that's probably important. Even though you can see your name in the window, but yeah, this is Wendy, and we just completed or are completing
Mhm.
my coaching course. I would call it like my main offering, which is Revive Your Essence. So that's a spiritual lifestyle course.
Mhm.
So yeah, what was your favorite part?
Um, discovering, I guess, discovering my creativity. Like we did a lot of fun art type or creative things in the course, whether it be using different mediums and stuff. And I had always told myself that because I was told in grade school, right, you don't know how to draw or do art. And so it was kind of fun rediscovering that and saying it doesn't matter what it looks like and it doesn't have to look like anybody else's. So some of those projects, I think, um, were probably one of my favorite, in addition to like just the connection amongst the women, like the ability to not have met any of these women in person, but to share that energy and really feel a deep and true connection with them.
Yeah, the group was I would say was is very
Is
very connected. There's a very cool spiritual energy to our group. So
Mhm,
yeah, that's
mhm.
yeah, and it was not planned. So I'm glad that everyone that is just it's amazing how vulnerable and open-hearted everyone is. Like that's what
Mhm,
makes the magic, I think. I don't know.
mhm.
Do you have anything
Yeah.
to add to that? Or
No, I just, it didn't take long and we were going deep in conversations. And then as I feel like as each session went on, like we were quicker able to get deeper, more vulnerable, more layers pulled back, right? All of us, I think, at one point, shared and were vulnerable, but felt comfortable and felt like we were supported, within that container and that all of us would be there for each other. So having grace, how about having Neve like provide the container, but we each were a piece of that container,
Mhm.
loving and supporting and giving each other grace through the whole process. Hmm.
Yeah, and it's a very diverse group of people, which is fun.
Hmm.
Really fun.
Hmm.
So what was the most valuable thing that you learned about yourself?
Um, I think that also might relate to like one of the exercises. The forgiveness challenge was really hard, and completing that and realizing the forgiveness to myself was the hardest of all of that. Um, and had not ever considered like, for, I mean, obviously forgiving other people, but at a different level, but then even turning that on myself and forgiving me. So I think realizing some of those opportunities and stuff of where I can be gentler and kinder to myself, um, not only in offering the forgiveness, but also like just in daily life. And I think it just has brought that, yeah, brought that forward. So,
Yeah, so the forgiveness, that was sounds like that was a breakthrough for you. Were there any
mhm.
other exercises or things that came from our group discussions or, adventures that really was a catalyst for other like personal breakthroughs or self discoveries? Anything that you're willing to share? No pressure.
Yeah, I think, um, I don't think, I know, having that safe container, language evolution, right? We've talked about that a lot. Having that safe container and knowing I could ask any question that I wanted to ask and know that either someone else was feeling the same way, someone else had the same question, or that I wasn't going to be ridiculed or looked down on or frowned upon as like, why don't you know that? So a lot of things with like spirituality, astrology, those kinds of things, moon mapping, like all of that has been new to me, but I have always felt comfortable in this community to ask those questions and not feel that, like I said, that it would be frowned upon or whatever the case might be. And as a result of that, I really do feel like I know that my spiritual growth has really grown exponentially in so many of those ways. And although I may be a novice, what's great is that I have experts in the group that can help me to navigate this path of whatever spirituality means for me. So surround yourself with people who, right, are different or who are levels ahead of you so that you can gain access to some of that wisdom and some of that knowledge. And our uniquenesses within this group are incredible, and they're celebrated and honored that we're all unique and bring a different gift to the group.
Yeah, and thank you for asking questions because you're not the only one with questions, and so being willing to say, actually, what is that, or whatever the thing was. Yeah,
Mhm,
it's great. Or how do I find that?
mhm,
It made me better for sure. Like going through and trying to figure out, oh yeah, that wasn't very clear or whatever. So I appreciate
mhm,
that. Um,
mhm, mhm.
so with working with me and the content, I would say like how do you feel like I've impacted your life over the last, I don't know, however many months, 3 or 4 months?
Right, right. Um, you've been able to help me to navigate and like guide me to places within to help find the clarity, the confidence, the insights that I've been able to access, and not probably, and in addition, being more grounded. Thank you for putting up with me while I do my language evolution, everybody. Um, and being more grounded. And that has been um, huge for me to be able to uh, tend the fire instead of igniting it more, which I have a tendency to do. So, helping me to tend the fire within so that I could find that clarity, that groundedness.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for me, watching, um, you know, and guiding,
Mhm.
but watching your evolution over the
Yes.
last few months,
Mhm.
it seems like there is a lot more, I would say, confidence, groundedness. Not that you weren't confident, but I think confidence in the spiritual
Mhm.
stuff or in not knowing
Yes. Mhm.
and being able, it's like so a deeper trust. Is this all
Mhm.
sounding right
Mhm.
to you?
Mhm. It does. Yeah, very much so. Very much
It's
so.
pretty cool. Like, let me just let me just say, it's been really fun watching the evolution, and, yeah, I don't know, it's kind of I think it's fun because, it's fun anyway because we're all evolving and, it's like, this is what we're doing.
Mhm. Mhm.
But when you get a group together with the focus of, okay, we're gonna ignite our spirituality and initiate ourselves into, ascension and Christ consciousness and the divine feminine and all of this, it's kind of magical what happened. So yeah,
Mhm.
and I've heard from, like, I think I mentioned to you on another call, um, other people commenting on your growth, which
Mhm.
I think is so
Mhm.
beautiful. Um,
Mhm.
Yeah. How would you describe the approach to the work that I do?
How would I describe it? Gentle, playfulness, right? Have some humor in it. Like, don't take yourself too serious, I guess. Don't take yourself too, yes, these are serious matters. Yes, there is some deep reflection and some inner work and stuff that needs to be done. But you can do some of that, a lot of it, playfully and like with a smile on your face and like, yeah, there that is again. There's that shadow. Look at that instead of the shadow showed up again, right? And so just teaching us ways to reframe things, I guess, also that have a more positive and less negative impact on our like emotions and stuff, and just saying, yeah, you're right where you're supposed to be. But I think the playfulness really, you know, as we discovered our inner child, and still do, right, still are, bringing that into, well, sometimes into daily, right? Like we would post about, oh, look what I did today, playful spirit post, um, or talking about it in class or whatnot. But
Nice. Well, is there, I don't know, anything on your heart that you came to this call like, oh, I want to share this, or is there anything else that you want to add, or, yeah.
um, yeah, I think you have you have had an impact on me, and that you have guided me to places that I didn't know that I either A existed within me, or that I may have hesitated visiting in the past. And so just your approach with giving all of us grace, you know, I felt that with each of the calls, and the openness and the honesty and um, you know, just honoring our uniquenesses, and it's okay, we don't all have to be the same. And so I think that that really touched my heart to know that I'm right where I'm supposed to be, not ahead, not behind, and it's all going to come together and everything's going to fall in place. And don't strive to achieve, just be in the process and let it happen. And so I appreciate your ability to, on the calls or in between, to help me to navigate that without me pushing and trying to make something happen instead of just being in the process. So
Yeah, you're welcome. And it sounds like, leaning into the feminine side, right? Leaning into the
mhm,
divine feminine more, the intuitive, the
mhm,
creative, the accepting, self-compassion and love in the moment. Like, I don't have to try. Or like, oh, I don't have to watch that call I missed. I can go outside and walk. That's the work right now. Or what,
yeah, exactly.
I love
Yeah, I forgot about that. That's right. That's the work, right? We talked, yeah, that
sometimes, yeah, that's what it is. It's taking this
check out.
or just going outside. Yeah, giving us permission to not do anything,
Mhm,
which is a privilege.
mhm,
And it is still hard, even if you have that privilege, to actually not just stuff
mhm.
more stuff into your day or your life. So, yeah.
More is not better, but you're right. And recognizing that we can give ourselves that, like we don't need anyone else to tell us, you know, and that really is the work, like putting the habits, right? Which, you know, the 10 habits, like putting those into practice, that is the work, like not putting more in or more information always isn't the answer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like a experience. What I hear you saying is an experience of easeful living
Mhm.
that was upgraded. That habit was
Mhm. Yep.
definitely upgraded.
Yep, we took a level up. Yes, I would agree. It
Right.
went from checking things off a list to make sure I did them every day to easing into them. and finding a way to navigate that. And if I didn't do one of the habits one of the days, tomorrow's a new day.
Yeah, and I really feel like that is the heart of Ayurveda. The essence of Ayurveda is how can you do the 51%? How can you take care of yourself just a little bit more than you aren't every day and be gentle with
Mhm,
it? Because, I
mhm,
mean, everyone pretty much knows, like, everyone has a list of the things that they should do as far as their self care and like their life, and finding that balance of I'm going
balance.
to accomplish
Mhm,
things and I'm going to brag about them and feel great about it. And then I'm going to go outside and walk because I don't have to do
mhm,
all the things.
right, exactly. And finding that harmony within ourselves, and everybody's is different. I mean, and everybody's balance point is different. So, yes, good analogy. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. The only thing I'm like thinking in closing, like the only thing I wish we could, it's so hard to convey this or share it with people watching who aren't in the group, but I don't know. Do you have any words around how the group is magic? Like I don't even know how to describe that to people that were outside of it, you know?
Yeah, I don't know if you, I mean, the synchronicities within this group have been like, what? Like, yeah, like I couldn't even begin to count them because there are so many. And it was sometimes every day or every week we get on a call and somebody would say something and I've been trying to find that, or I've been looking for that person, or oh, and so it's just been incredible to see how in all of our uniquenesses, we're all similar, or we're sharing same experiences or close to, like at the same time, or you know, things
Very,
popping up in our life. Yeah, it
yeah,
was
very
magical.
connected. Yeah, it's like I think all of the synchronicities for me have been a reminder of how connected we are, like how we are all part of one.
Hmm.
And we are all the ocean and we're each our own
Hmm.
drop. And it just seemed to
Hmm.
be like that testimony every time we met. Just
Right, right. It was always like, oh, well, of course you were thinking that. Or of course you picked up that book because I did. I mean, and we would just like laugh about it because it's like, yep, there's another example of how we are so connected and one, as you were saying, yet the individuals. So
right. And the group
yeah.
is people from 30s to 60s. It's not like
Hmm.
we're all in the same exact phase or thing in
Hmm.
life and still the
No,
synchronicities. So
phenomenal. Hmm.
yeah, it was so
Yeah.
much fun. Oh,
It was, yeah. And I think we were all kind of sad to, in some ways, to see it end. However, we also know we'll still continue in the Pure Grace community. But, it was kind of a closure of the course per se. And so, yeah, anxious and excited to see where we go next and how this group is going to remain cohesive and bring that energy forward into the future courses.
yeah, I'm excited. Thank you for bringing that up because Pure Grace, I mean, I'm really excited about this cleanse, ancestral healing, and going through the gates and into the winter solstice. Like this is amazing. The community
Hmm.
is just great. And so yeah, if anyone's watching this and you want to find out more about that, you can send me a message or you could check it out on
Hmm.
my website. There's information. But yeah, we are going to continue to rock.
Hmm. Right.
Rock and roll
Exactly.
all fall. Yeah. And the book that came to me this morning is a very energy and is encoded with a lot of downloads and initiations. So it's going to be a pretty intense ride, I think. But it'll be fun.
Awesome.
It'll be a fun,
Awesome.
intense ride. But yeah,
Exactly.
thank you for being willing to hop on here and just share a little bit about your journey and some of the things. I don't know if there was anything that came up for you during the course that was super challenging or hard that the group helped you with? I know sometimes that happens and people don't talk about it. So I don't know if that's
Mm,
with you or
I think when I sat in the hot seat a couple weeks ago,
oh yeah,
and I'm at a point where I'm trying to decide what to do with, um, I'm reinventing myself in retirement. And so trying to decide what I want to do with that, it's really not a career, but a calling. Like, how do I want to be of service? Like, and what avenue do I want to take? And so Neve encouraged me to get in the hot seat. She gave me prep. So I did, I knew the day before that I was going to do it, but I needed some guidance and help from the group. And so I think the wisdom, the love, the caring that everyone showed me and conveyed to me that day. And even afterwards, like people were contacting me and, either thank you for being in the hot seat or, multiple messages, but it helped to bring clarity to what I knew. I knew what I wanted to do, and it just solidified that. And like I said, brought the clarity to me and the insight that go within, listen within, it's there. So
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for sharing that because it is, the way that I like to facilitate or guide the group is really being able to tap into everyone's wisdom all the
mhm,
time, like,
mhm,
and reminding always, like, you do know. And sometimes just by sharing and being in the hot seat, which means for anyone listening, like, everyone is focused on your thing and feeling your energy and asking you clarifying questions and helping you figure out what you really think and feel. It's just it's amazing to do with a dynamic evolved group because everyone is seeing and sensing different aspects of you
mhm,
when you're in the hot seat and then can share and reflect those. So it's like, oh yeah, I did know that. Okay, this is great. And usually I'm crying too,
mhm.
right? So
Yeah. Yeah, there were lots of tears that day. Yes, indeed. You're right.
yeah.
Mhm.
And
So yeah, so giving and so again, because of the group dynamics, because of the cohesiveness, um, I totally felt comfortable doing it, knowing that I was going to get emotional about it and just stuff that I needed to work through. But I knew that I would always be supported in that process. So, and I think we decided we were going to name it something different than hot seat. So,
oh yeah. What was it? Uh play wasn't it something with playful or
it probably was.
oh, we'll have to go back and
Because we don't
listen.
want people, yeah, don't want people to shy away from being in the hot seat because it's really not that, it's actually pretty helpful.
Right. It's not hot. It's just like a warm hug. See? I
Yeah,
don't remember.
exactly.
We did come up with a name. We'll have to remember that. The only other thing that I thought was really cool that I noticed with multiple people in the group, but definitely you as one of them, is how working with me in the group has kind of trickled out to your family and friends. I don't know if you want
Mhm,
to comment on that, but that's been really cool when you come back with
mhm,
stories about stuff.
mhm.
Even just
Yeah,
being with your daughter, that's huge.
right. So in preparation for one of Neve's next courses, and we kind of talked about her working with like young women and stuff. I had no idea when Neve and I had a conversation that I thought I had a gift to help these young girls, 10 to 14, plus their moms. Like, I thought I just needed to work with adults. And we started talking. She's like, but you're a mom and you have a daughter. And I'm like, oh, well, I guess I do, don't I? So, yeah, imagine that. Isn't that the obvious? Um, and the gift, one of the many gifts to me, and I was telling Neve this earlier, is that this week I interviewed my daughter, just her and I, and talked about her childhood and about that age range. And it was a gift to me to be able to have that conversation with my daughter, which I don't believe would have happened in that format or in that length anyway. And to talk about like what went right, what could have gone better, how she was feeling, etc. Um, so that is, one impact. And you know, other impacts even within like my friends and stuff, and have, brought people into the closer to the community anyway, so that they can share their experiences. But then like also like dribbling information on my husband or my mom, or and just like
I know.
Drip, drip, drip. Just let it sit. Drip, drip, drip. And then pretty soon your husband's like picking up the spirit animal book and okay, great. So
Yeah, I love whenever you share the stories, especially like with your husband and your mom and like, oh, they asked me this or they were curious about that. And
Mhm.
I think it's cool how when our growth and our journey and our healing and our discovery and self-discovery starts to it really changes us, right? As we
Mhm.
integrate with our inner child and our divinity, right? We're integrating all this stuff. It does. It trickles out and other people are like,
Mhm.
wow, what are you doing now? Oh, why are you doing that?
Mhm.
And we don't
Mhm.
actually have to preach to them about what they should or shouldn't be doing. We can just live it and
Mhm.
they will pick up on it and get curious if and when they're ready. And I just think it was
Exactly.
beautiful. Every time you shared a story about that, I was like, ooh, it's spreading.
Yeah, yeah, it did happen a lot. And now my husband's not leery, but he's careful when he asks the question because he knows he's going to get like an honest answer and like I don't elaborate on it, but like
Right.
you're going to get an honest answer. And so he chooses his words and he always has chooses his words wisely.
Right.
So,
It's like some things maybe I don't want to know about. It's like, okay, if
mhm.
you're doing that thing in the living room, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
walk away. uh, thank you so much
Yeah.
for doing this. It was
Thank you.
so fun to connect and anchor some of your learnings and just the experience of the group. It's the silence after the om that we miss in our society, right? Because we just to the next thing. And so this is part of that. Okay, let's listen to the silence after the om. And then I think with the
Yeah.
launch of the fall, the cleanse,
Mhm.
ancestral healing, that'll be like the beginning of the next om, right? And then winter
Mhm.
solstice will, I kind of think of it as like seasons, right?
Right.
It is like its
Mhm.
own. And each thing is its, anyway, it's important to do the silence and the reflection after stuff. That is how we grow. Continue to,
Well, and we're right. Yeah, I would agree. And like, it's the same thing like with an exhale. Take an exhale. And the pause is where the magic happens, right? It's not the exhale, it's not the inhale, it's the pauses where the magic happens. And just like in life, like maybe it's the season or maybe it's the om, but it's the pausing, the reflecting, the living it, that's where the magic is.
yeah, in
Mhm.
relationships.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
uh,
Thank you for having me. It was an honor not only to be, it continues to be an honor in this community, but thank you for honoring me and doing the interview today um,
yeah, thank
with
you.
what I have to share. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it too. So thank you. I know.
Mhm.
All right. Thank you. And everyone, anyone listening.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. And if you have any questions, you can message either of us. We're pretty
Mhm.
cool and open.
Please do. I'd love to hear from you. So,
All right.
all right. Take care.